Nothing beats a JJ Unplugged show. Welcome back to the JJ Unplugged show. I'm Jake,
And I'm Jenny.
and today you might see that we are not in the same room. We're trying something new to see maybe we can bring regular episodes. We'll see how this works and then test it out.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
And today we're going to be talking about astrology. I even have a hook line prepared, which is kind of cringy, but that's like what I do best. Is Mercury retrograde an excuse or a real thing? Can your chart explain why meetings with your boss feel cursed? Jen will answer all of those questions today.
Will I? Oh my God.
How can you not? Like, you are perfect. You basically know everything.
I don't know everything. I just keep going in every couple of weeks and finding something new about a new planet. And it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Um,
Well,
so yeah, I'm getting there. I'm understanding bit by bit.
but like, what was the last one? Chiron, or whatever it's pronounced?
Your your Chiron.
Chiron.
Yeah, your Chiron is how you heal. So it's the wound that you come into this life with and how you heal based on the planet that it is in.
Well, you know what we'll be talking about today? Maybe we'll cover all of it, maybe we won't. But my idea today is if you were interviewing me last time, then this time it's going to be all about you. I will probably find
Okay.
some things to share, but we'll talk about astrology in 60 seconds for 6 minutes. The big three: myth versus reality. Timing your life
Mhm.
with retrogrades, transits, Saturn returns, Chiron and the
Mm.
idea of your core wound, astrology at work and in relationships, maybe a mini reading, and then we can do like some
Okay.
hot takes. How does that sound?
Okay. Yeah. I can't promise I'll know the answer to everything because I'm still learning, but go for it.
Welcome to the JJ Unplugged Show.
Right. So
I'm open to trying new things. This is my mantra here. I'm open to trying new things.
I don't have my mantra anywhere. I have my daily affirmations, but I'm not reading that out loud here.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to read that out.
Hmm. But okay, so pretend I'm new, completely new. I know nothing about astrology. Tell me what
Okay.
astrology is and what it is it not.
Oh, okay. In my mind, now this can be completely wrong, so take this with caution to any listener. Astrology for me is basically all of the different planets. So when we come into this life, everything is very much already kind of orchestrated through your birth. So you come in here, you're born at a certain time, and when you're born, the planets are aligned at a certain place. Everything is in place basically. And I just feel like, a lot of things can be explained through astrology. Anything that you go through, lessons, very hard lessons. Some might say karma, or dharma, different things like that. It can be very much explained through where everything is in your chart. Like if you know your birth time, a lot can come through that. That's a very roundabout. That was a very ADHD way of explaining things. But yeah, so I think most people when they're born, they'll say, "Oh, I was born in October." Okay, so what date? The 15th. Oh, you're a Libra. Perfect. And then you're branded with, let's say, very typical traits of being in that sign. So, oh, you're a Libra. You're probably very superficial. You love, very expensive things. You're really bad at deciding things. So you're very indecisive. You're very much about the way things look, and you like fine dining, or everything is very superficial. It can come across that way. You're the diplomat or the mediator. You don't like conflict. So many things can come true on your sun sign, and the sun, they say, is like about yourself, but then you have to go deeper than that, right? So they have the big three. So You've got your sun, you've got your moon, and you've got your rising. Your moon is a big one because that's based on your heart, your emotions, the way that you feel, and how you portray yourself emotionally to the world and how you take things in, because emotions do run a lot in your day to day,
Wouldn't
whether we
know.
want them to or not, right? Whether you want, especially with, especially when you're ruled by them in the ADHD sense. If you're neurodivergent, yes, you can be very emotionally reactive, and it can be very hard to regulate that too. Um, that's another part. And then your rising sign can be very much about how you look to people, so what people take you as. And those three can be very, very different from each other. So, people can say, oh my God, you're a Cancer, but you don't seem like you're a Cancer when you're around people. You're really outgoing, or you're really this, or you're really that. And then they find out, oh, you're actually like a Virgo rising with a Libra moon. And then they're like, oh, you seem very mixed up about what's going on here. I don't know how to take you, So you're taking bits and pieces from each thing. And then there's all the different planets. But the big three is kind of how people start. And that's a nice way to start, is with the three of those planets. If you can kind of understand those, then I guess the next thing I would have delved into would have been your North Node and your South Node. So your North Node is what you're supposed to develop in this life. That can be karmic, I feel. But it's something you've come into this life to develop on. So it could be specific traits that you shy away from. And if you do shy away from those things, you will fall back on the South Node. So that's your comfort zone. That's how you developed in your past life. So, for example, I'm a Capricorn. That damn sign. I'm a Capricorn North Node in this life. So a lot of those traits are something I need to take on. Whereas my South Node is a Cancer. So I would be very quick to go into the emotional capacity of things, very deep into things, instead of just being on the ball, direct, just going into things, being more organized about things. I'll lean in. If I'm uncomfortable, I will shy away and move into that Cancer energy. So once we understand this about ourselves, we can almost catch ourselves and go, okay, I don't like this thing. I keep finding myself in this pattern. Why am I in this pattern? What's going on? And then you'll find yourself the traits that are in that. And it's like a puzzle for me and my mind. It unlocks a lot, you know? And what else did you
I'm
mention?
gonna
You
stop you
mentioned
there for a moment because I definitely want to do like a proper deep dive in all of those. But
Mm.
if I'm a complete noob, I have no idea where to start, but I'm kind of interested. I kind of want to know a little more. What maybe tools or apps could help a newbie get like a basic
Oh,
chart?
there's so many. So I know off the top of my head, I started with CoStar, which is a free app that you can get on Android and Apple, like iPhone. And then there's also a lot of free options online. So Cafe Astrology actually is one to check. That's like a free website where you can pull your natal chart. And if you know your birth time, you're going to get a very, very accurate read of all of your planets. Um, and if you don't, it will kind of give you as near as to it. It is still pretty accurate, but I feel like if you have that birth time, and I know a lot of people don't, I know a lot of generations before did not take any heed to your time of birth. It was too witchy for them. But if you do have that, it is quite important. It really does tell you where all the planets were when you came into this world. And yeah, what's your purpose? What are you trying to heal in this life? Um, a lot about your career, a lot about how you're developing and what you need to develop to kind of pass through this life.
Something that I found extremely interesting was I remember, now this was years ago, I was kind of going through like a rough patch and I was doing all of the, evil eye removals and trying to figure out like if there's
Yes.
anything, any planets causing any distress. So I got some sort of a phone number of some sort of a an astrologist, and she asked me, of course, my birth time, and I said, I actually have no idea. Nobody in my family really knows the exact time. And then she gathered a few bits and pieces. And after like 15 minutes, she called me back and she said, oh, yeah, like you were born at 10:52 and a half. Do you have access to like birth hospital records or something? Or what is
Just
happening?
she's like over a cauldron, like feeling into it.
But
Like, I love
the
that.
thing is also, I was talking to my mom and my grandma, and both of them said slightly before 11. And I never mentioned that to her. And I'm like, where did you get this information? Did she, now I'm thinking, did she maybe put a chart together? And then from what I told her, how, what I do, like what are some of the things that I'm currently going through and why am I actually contacting her? Maybe moving a couple of like minutes here and there, she was able to pinpoint those events. I don't know, but that was so wild to me.
I love that. I think it's nice though as well. And I feel like, if you mention like where you're in a space where you might feel really lost in whatever kind of phase you are in your life, it can bring so much comfort to somebody when they start to really get a piece of the puzzle of themselves. And it could be like, I don't know, a lot of people might think like, oh, that's really airy fairy or it's all made up. And I know even when it comes to like psychological or like psychology, what would you say? Psychology, I don't want to say yeah, well, they actually are tests like Myers-Briggs or like the insights thing that we did where it gives you a profiling. It can be very put you in a box. You are this character, this is what you are. It can be very freeing or it can be very much constrictive for somebody as well. So like each to their own. If you get comfort from things, whatever, it's not for everybody. And that's okay too. So
That's true. And I also think with astrology, it's a guideline, maybe an explanation of some of the things that you might not know how to explain or why you do some things that you do. But it also should never
yeah,
be a
yeah.
box because it's not fortune telling, but it's something that
No,
can help you exist better.
it can. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, yeah, very true. Like, I mean, sometimes people go to fortune tellers and that fortune teller could turn around and say, oh, you're gonna buy this black car, two doors, or like two-seater, like black car, and it's gonna be an '07. And so to the point that somebody then, consciously goes out looking for that one thing and they're going, this is, oh, it just appeared. I just seen, and you're like, did it?
Did
Did
it?
it not?
Mm.
It really depends on how people want to look at it. Um, yeah,
And whenever you go looking for
that's
something,
right.
you're definitely gonna find it. I
Gotta
love
find it.
this saying.
Absolutely.
I don't remember if I mentioned this previously, but I love this saying where you can believe that you can, or you can believe that you can't. Either way, you're gonna be right.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. It's both ends of the spectrum there. Um, your mind is so powerful, and if you make yourself believe something, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're really rich. We're so
But
rich.
we are. We're like
We're so rich.
multi-billionaires.
Just keep, just gonna keep saying it because it's true. I'm so rich in so many ways. I'm not saying what I'm rich with, but I'm rich
We
in every aspect of my life.
we
Yeah.
get 50 followers a second. Our podcast becomes extremely popular. And if you haven't hit that hit that like button and subscribe because you never know what's
We're
coming next.
so popular.
We're so
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
popular. Um, but yeah, let's go back to the big three. So
Mm-hmm.
big three, how I understand it, it's like a headline, a diary, and a mask. But I want you to give me an
Okay.
elevator pitch. Sun, moon, rising in plain language. Why should I care? Why are they important?
Okay. Elevator pitch. I think the way that I look at it is like the sun is about you. the sun. Like if you ever drawn a picture, the sun in the picture, like the way when you were little, you draw like, and this is actually very much psychology based as well, where you put that sun in the picture. Can like some people put it in the corner, some are like, oh, it's in the center, it's in the middle of the stage. The sun is about you, right? You are that sun. And then the moon is about your heart, your emotional capacity. And your rising is all about how you look. So, I mean, you could probably encapsulate all of that into one picture itself, How do you want the sun to look as well? You could probably dress it all up into one thing as well, like depending on the color that you put it. You could probably incorporate all the colors into one big thing, because when it comes down to it, all of this is a part of you, just different in a little way, Your emotions could be any color based on where you are in your life. But it just goes so much deeper as well. Because with astrology, people are like, oh, your sun sign. I feel like the sun sign just gets the biggest piece of the stage, because that's the very surface level thing, right? Like everyone's like, oh, you're a Cancer, you're a Libra, you're a Virgo, you're that. So you incorporate every single one of those traits, and that is you. That's who you are. And I think that's why astrology gets a bad rep, because people are like, oh, that's so typical, putting someone in a box like that, saying, oh, you're a Virgo, so you're a perfectionist, you are so logically minded, you don't have much emotional capacity, or, whatever people have to say about that sign. But that's just one piece, and it goes so much deeper. Just like people, whatever you see, it's like the iceberg analogy. You see this much, but all of this is underneath. And all of that is all those other planets and all those other pieces to you,
Instantly, first thought
you
when
know?
you said iceberg, I thought of lettuce.
Thinking of Leonardo on the door, like Titanic, like, he never forgot. Like, he's on that door floating, but what's going on underneath?
Hmm.
Hypothermia.
Yeah, and this is why I mentioned sun being the headline, then
Yeah,
moon
yeah.
the diary that is going on inside. So I'm writing it down,
For sure. It's deep. Yeah.
and then the
Hmm.
mask
Yeah, yeah.
is how other people see you being rising.
How you show
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah, you're coming out onto the stage and it's like, this is what I'm showing you as. Because it's so interesting as well, because somebody could be like, I feel like I can take yours for the example, right? So you're a Cancer sun, right? And Cancers are known to be so loving, so caring and nurturing, so deep in the emotional capacity that they can carry and that they can give to other individuals. And then you have your moon sign, which is me, Libra, right? Which is why we vibe so much. You can emotionally understand me probably better than a lot of other people could, because you feel a lot closer to me than probably other people can. And then you have your rising, and you're Virgo rising.
Oh, we'll have to have a look.
Are you Virgo
I
rising?
actually don't remember.
I feel like it was Virgo rising. I can't remember now, but don't hold me to that. But if that is the case, you show, even in work, right? You show yourself to be very organized, perfectionist in how you display things at work. Um, so it'd be quite interesting for you then as a manager, because you're going to give emotionally, you're going to be very diplomatic, you're going to have a lot of understanding, you can connect with people as if a Libra could, which is the mediation, the diplomat. You would have that piece of like being very much like, you'd be a great therapist. You have the ear to just be like, mm-hmm. And then you have the emotional capacity of the Cancer, but then you also have the Virgo side, which is very logical, very like, okay, detail orientated. So you can put everything together. So with that trio in itself, that's a fucking amazing trio to have, because you're ticking so many different boxes in that it's just like, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Very
You
interesting.
know?
Shall we dive deeper into that? That was my psychologist voice. But anyway,
Right?
we were you were kind of briefly talking about, oh, everybody kind of paying attention only to the sun. What are maybe some common traps or pitfalls when it comes to people only knowing their sun sign?
Well, I think it's kind of like the iceberg analogy, right? You're only going to get surface level when there's so much more to understand about a person, you know? And I feel like if you kept it at that surface level, you could say like, oh, take me, for example. Oh, you're a Libra. Oh my God, you must have like such a glamorous outlook on life. And oh, you must be so easy breezy. Or, I bet your battery's never full and you just have like a million emails that you never read and you're so flaky. And you probably just love like going to work but not working. Like you're just real about the glam life and always spending money. You probably have no savings. Like you're probably just really like, oh, what can I get from people? Because I'm so pretty, right? Like this is the sort of thing that can be painted, which is like, there's so much more to a person that if you brand them into the stereotypical thing, it can be very, it can be detrimental, I feel.
Mm, yeah, that's true. And especially if you think about, do you remember TV programs that were like newspapers? They always had an astrology section.
Oh, yeah.
My grandmother still gets them and she still reads them. And sometimes when she just wants to talk to me over the phone, she will say, "Oh, let me grab the TV program and let me just read out your astrology."
Love that. Your future is ahead of you. Oh my God, it is ahead of me. It's so true, Yeah, they could be, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that's a real surface level piece where it's like they just give you such a stereotypical thing to put in about a sign. Um, but there are very interesting things about signs which can be like, you have the different types. So you've got yourself, you're a water sign, straight away water, deep. You know, it's in the word emotion, motion. There's a lot of movement there because that sign, it's like, oh, they're like as deep as the ocean. It just does not stop. The capacity to hold so much and to hold others as well. I feel like that's something that gets overlooked. People usually, when you say, oh, you're a water sign, oh my God, they're crybabies or they're so, moany or whatever. And it's like, they like to go into like the negatives or like air signs. Me, oh my God, like airhead, you're just so stupid or they're so superficial and dumb. Where it's like, actually, we just spend a lot of time in our head overthinking things and going like we're up here all the time. So it's all about pulling it down. And then earth signs, they're the grounded ones. Are they though? You know?
There's a lot of dirt there as well.
But like for the earth signs as well, they can be very logical, but like sometimes it might feel like there's no emotion there. And then you've got your fire signs, which are really like, oh, they're just so unstable. Like they're just so crazy. Like they can't slow down. They're always running around doing things and they just need to, just be. They can be very explosive, like fire. They can be really out there and like nothing is thought through. It's just really like go. Um, but like that's kind of the superficial thing that people might say about those signs, but you have to go deeper. So that's why you can't just say they're an X sign, they're this. So much more to a person, you know?
No, I
But I did find like this reel of, and I say real because there's so many different ones that popped up on my TikTok where there's all of these different psychotherapists, all like worldwide, that are actually bringing in astrology to their practice now. So they're not just going in as integrative therapists with one process of like, I don't know, like Freudian energy where they're like, and how does that make you feel? What did your parents do? Like that's giving dad wound. They're very much, who have I got in front of me? What are they showing me? Are they spiritual? Are they religious? Are they X, Y, Z? And then catering to that. But spirituality is a big one that's growing and that I can actually see through TikTok. A lot of therapists are very much, I actually bring this in because, yeah, you might get that client that comes in and they're like, oh my God, 5 planets are in Mercury retrograde, which they have been. I'm all over the place and I just feel so ungrounded. And it's like, okay, how do I take care of this client that's in front of me now? I can cater to them, by finding out a little bit more about this. I can actually work with them. And if you unlock that, bam, right? That therapeutic relationship with them straight away, it's like, okay, this is trust. We've just built something here. We can go deeper now.
which leads me to I want you to guess a celebrity, and their star sign rising. I'll give
Oh
you
God.
a clue. So, intense gaze, transformative looks. They can go from intimidating to deeply vulnerable in the same breath. Projects mystery and power, but also carries an emotional depth that hooks fans beyond the spectacle.
Oh my God. Okay, Hillary, go in. So wait, this is a celebrity.
Yes, I chose somebody easy that everybody probably will know.
Oh, it's gonna look really bad now if I get it wrong. So say that again. So a celebrity, and you didn't say whether it was male or female, did you?
I specifically excluded that, yes.
Okay, so go again. Give me that again.
All right. I'll read you just one sentence at a time so that you can kind of maybe think.
Mm-hmm.
Intense gaze
Mm-hmm.
and transformative looks. Can you
Okay.
narrow like a couple of signs down already?
Intense gaze, transformative looks. It's given Meryl Streep.
Okay. Then she she can go. No. She can go. I'm giving you a hint. She can go from intimidating to deeply vulnerable in the same breath.
Hmm. Oh, this could be anybody. Give me a clue. I'm just thinking of every celebrity ever here.
All right. So projects mystery and power, but also carries an
Given
emotional
Scorpio.
depth.
That's given Scorpio energy.
All right. Now I'll give you, by the way, yes, you're right. It is a Scorpio.
Ah, yes.
Then
Okay.
final, okay, I'll give you another clue here in this sentence. She hooks fans beyond the costumes and spectacle.
Why do I feel like you're about to tell me it's Beyonce?
Isn't Beyonce a Leo or something?
She's, yeah, I think she is a fire sign. Hooks fans, so she's a singer. It's not, oh God, it's not Taylor Swift, is it?
Taylor Swift? Oh my God, Swifties are gonna kill me, but intimidating?
I'm not a Swiftie. I was never a Swiftie.
I don't know. I don't see Taylor as intimidating.
No.
This show has gotten canceled by all the Swifties.
Thanks.
I do apologize.
She has too much of the girl next door energy, which I feel like she was like typecast into. So she's been trying to come out of that era for so long with like empowering music. But I just feel like because she came in with the country music piece and it was the girl next door innocence piece, like it's, yeah, I just feel like you were typecast then.
Hmm. But yeah, think of the mystery, think of the power, think of the spectacle, the costumes.
Katy Perry? No.
I do like Katy Perry, but
Jennifer Lopez.
also
Jennifer Lopez is a Leo, so it's not Jennifer Lopez. And she's kind of got that going on where she's like, hi, center of attention.
who's giving
Scorpio singer. Who is given Scorpio? It's not Stevie Nicks. She's a Gemini. I'm going to be kicking myself here now. I'm trying
You
to think of
probably will.
Scorpio performers.
You probably
Oh,
will.
I'm like, goddamn.
Okay.
Give me a tiny hint.
Oh, this is gonna be so useless. Useless. Song lyrics. I am not singing, I am saying. La la.
Lady Gaga?
Yes.
Scorpio. I have to Google this.
Please.
Lady Gaga. She's not a Scorpio.
Rising.
Oh, because she's March 28th. So is that between Pisces and... Oh, where is Pisces, isn't it?
March.
Or is that the end of Pisces and
Isn't
into
it Aries or something?
Aries?
Yeah.
She's an Aries, is she?
But you guessed Scorpio rising. So
Yeah.
from the description
That's
alone.
fascinating. So that's it. Yeah, that's where that real, like, the fire, yeah, where it's like, this is it. Scorpio and Gemini. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, nice.
Nice. You won
Nice.
a pat on the back. Good job. Good job. All right.
Well, 10.
Let's move on to the next segment, which is myth versus reality. So I'm going to give you a couple of maybe popular claims, and you tell me,
Okay.
is it helpful or hype? But also
Okay.
give me a little bit of an explanation. So, Mercury retrograde breaks technology.
Definitely hype that. Yeah. Mercury retrogrades, when they come in my mind, is, how would I say it? Mercury's a lot about how we think, and like, in those spaces, it's a real slowdown. It's, what are you doing that's not working for you? Slow down and take notice. And things are very much out of control during those times. And I feel like, and this is totally my own perception, I feel like during those stages, it's a real Jesus take the wheel.
Yeah.
You know, your bus doesn't show up on time, you're late. Jesus take the wheel. Just let go or be dragged. You're running around, you're trying to do too much. You're speeding to get somewhere, you crash. It's like, what are you doing? Slow down, you know? Technology isn't working. You try to book something and then it doesn't work or doesn't go through, and you end up paying twice for something because it's like you're still trying to rush, you're trying to speed through things. The signs are all here to show you, slow down, take heed. So yeah, I'd hype that.
I think I would as well, because there's so many things
Yeah.
that go wrong. It's not just the emotions, but it could be that the tech breaks down because of our emotions and because they are not in check. So it's the result of the impact of Mercury retrograde on the human rather than technology itself.
Yeah.
Right. Next one. This is completely random, and I'm choosing a completely random sign here, but you should never date an Aquarius. What?
God love certain people if they listen to this. I feel like Aquarius gets such a bad reputation.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I
Because
don't I
they're
don't want other people to feel bad about themselves. The main reason this came to mind is because my dad's an Aquarius, and I'm like, maybe you shouldn't date them. But I do love some
I
of them.
feel, yeah, I have, like, I can't hate on an air sign, I am one. I feel like Aquarius is an amazing sign because they're such amazing givers. They are some of the nicest people you would ever come across. But you have to you have to realize that when you meet them, what you meet is not what you get. It's very, very much I'm not going to let you in. You kind of have to earn that. So a version of them that you see at the start isn't what you really get. You have to earn that.
Thank you.
Let's blur that out at the end there.
You,
Yeah,
you know what
I
this
think
was giving?
Aquariuses are,
This was giving,
yeah.
remember during COVID where news presenters
Oh, the guy doing the
is-
news and the kid
yeah.
comes in and then the nanny like pull the kids out. Yes, facts,
Oh, I
facts.
love
Um, yeah, I feel like, yeah, they say like Aquarius is the humanitarian that hates people. But I feel like that's because they wear their heart on their sleeve. So because they're such lovely people, if they give and give and give and you keep taking, it'll get to a point where they're like, right, well, fuck you, and burn it all to the ground. Like, ice you out. Um, yeah. Like, I know a few Aquarius people, and they are some of the most lovely people I've ever met in my life.
agree.
But it's so funny because the RBF is real. Like, you meet them and they're like, but underneath that, they're like, hey, like the friendliest people ever. But the RBF is just like Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what you're getting. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
It's but yeah, amazing people.
and
You just need to understand how to. They need to talk. They need to talk, they need to feel understood, and when they feel understood, they feel safe, and then they'll let you in, I feel.
I
Yeah.
do agree with that. Yes, so much to give,
Yeah.
so much love, so much
So much.
kindness as well.
So much.
But it's also like a huge wall. But I feel like that wall is because they might have been hurt in the past. I don't think I've ever met an Aquarius that
Yes.
hasn't been hurt in the past.
Yeah. Very true. And they take a lot on as well. Like I know a guy actually that's Aquarius, and I know by him, and I feel like it's the same for all Aquariuses. They have this role that they take on where they're the one that organizes and fixes everything. Like even in a family, what I've noticed is they take on so much more than they should. And people like let them take that space, and then they're like, oh, just keep taking, 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 taking. And they'll keep giving because they're such amazing people with the biggest heart. And it's like, okay, welcome to Burnout City. And I feel like even with this one guy that I know that is an Aquarius, his partner would be very, very quick to be like behind him like a guard dog, being like, stop fucking taking from him and you need to have more boundaries and da da da. And that's a really hard one, I feel, for an Aquarius, is to have boundaries, because they're such givers and they're such beautiful people that they just want, they have the humanitarian thing. They just want to help everybody and they want to give. But at the same time, if you push them too far, run for the hills. Like run.
So, back to my question. Are you stomping all over this? Should you never date an Aquarius?
I don't think you should never date an Aquarius. I think an Aquarius, like I'm biased, you know. I'm an air sign. I think we're great.
I will tell you what.
But I don't think,
No, sorry, finish.
yeah, I think, yeah, no, I think, yeah, I think they're great to date. I think they are the most loyal person. Once you're in that, when you're locked in, they have their expectations. And if their expectations are met from their partner, what is there to fight about? They're just going to go with it. If you make them feel safe, they are going to be the best partner. They're going to do everything for you. I even see this with that guy that I know that's an Aquarius, him and his partner. You've never met a more loyal person. They're like a Labrador, would do anything for you. They're always thinking ahead. They're always that person. Incredible. So I would say, fuck that. Like, you know, don't date one. I think they're one of the best people to date.
You know what? I am going to say I agree with my statement. You should never date an Aquarius. You should marry one
Marry one.
and never let go.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think we both agree that you should just marry one. Don't date. Don't date them for a long time.
Yeah.
2 weeks of dating and then
But like, I mean,
marriage.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like if you're gonna date one, have your shit together.
Mhm.
Do the shadow work, you know what the fuck you want when you're coming in, and don't play games, because they don't like to play. They're and it's an air sign thing. We're very like locked in. What are your intentions? What's the goal here? Don't mess me about. Don't play games. And if you get met with that, then we're gonna match that energy. It's like, okay, if you're gonna play with me, I'm gonna play with you. Like, go big or go home. Don't play me, because I'm gonna play you back.
Mhm. All right, final one. Being born on a cusp is a thing.
On the cusp of of a sign, like you could be like
Between
a
two,
little
yeah.
bit more. I think you can be born on a cusp, but again, like if you're born on the cusp and that's your sun sign, there's still going to be, it's all about the time you were born. There's still going to be so much that's, you know, you're born when you're meant to be born. Everything, I feel like when you come in, and I'm very big into this, I'm like, before you come into this life, you sign that contract. It's like, you're going to be my parents. These are going to be the people in my life that I go, like, I'm around, and this is going to be the karma I'm coming into. I'm signing that contract, blood and all, and that this is what I'm coming in for. So if you're on a cusp, I feel like that ties into whatever the karma is that you're pulling through. So yeah, if your sun sign is on a cusp, fine. But what's your moon sign? What's the rest of it? What's your south node, your north node, your midheaven, your Lilith sign, you know, your Chiron? What are you coming in to heal? What's that about? I'd be more in that.
Okay, so what do you think about? So I was technically never born because I'm a cesarean baby.
Oh my God. Okay. Very interesting.
what do you think of that? Because maybe what you just said, we're born when we're supposed to be born.
Yeah. I would go so much deeper than just the astrology piece with that though. You know, you were born and you came through cesarean.
I was
So
excavated.
excavate, you were literally like, I'm not coming out. I'm not dealing with this bullshit.
I
And they were like,
knew.
oh honey, let's
I
go.
knew.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like, okay, so I'm so curious as well. I'd be like, okay, how many days? So you were overdue.
No idea.
These are the questions I'd be asking. If you were overdue, so your date of birth, you know, the day you were supposed to be born, did it happen on that day? Was your mum induced? If you, so some places like here, I think the maximum amount of days that you're supposed to let a woman go over the due date, I think the maximum now is 12 days.
Oh, that's quite a lot.
I feel like that's the number. It's 12. And it is quite a lot because that's like 2 more weeks of hell where a woman is like, just get this baby out of me now. Um, People really forget that when a woman is pregnant, everything that's going into that baby is coming through the placenta. It's coming through that mother. It's the energy, it's her essence, it's all the food, it's all of her energy. And energy is everything. Everything is energy, right? So, how is your mum during all of that time, all of those months? Is she stressed? Is she, you know, overeating? Is she undereating? Is she emotional? Is she going through heartache? Is she going through grief? Does a parent pass away? Is she in a car accident? Does she lose a parent? Like, what's going on during that whole time that's then going into the baby, you know, through that umbilical cord? Like, what's going into you and feeding your energy before you're even born? What karmic stuff is coming through to you that you might not even think, oh yeah, this isn't going to affect me. Like, I'm still a baby. I'm not even born yet. Every single bit of it does. You're not even born yet, and you already have a lot of things, a lot of deciding factors already added into the mix before you've even took your first outside of the womb breath. So I seen something on cesareans that they basically say the reason that we, you know, when we're born, like women's bodies just open like a flower. Well, I wouldn't say it's like a flower because a flower opening is probably really nice. Whereas they say birth is like it's like for men, it's like watching your favorite pub burn down. It's like, oh my God, there's so much screaming. But back in time, they said that for women, they've actually made birth a very scary thing where it's actually a miracle. It's a beautiful thing. Like, women can make life. That is so incredible, right? We've got a portal going on there. It's like, hey, welcome. But when you are born and you're coming through the birth canal, whatever way it happens, the way the hips are shaped, everything like that. And for a baby, that's why they say you come through head first, because the pelvic floor compresses the baby's head. And that's supposed to be a really big thing for you actually when you're born, that you come through that way. And then obviously everything is a lot easier. Like, once that happens, it's a lot easier to get the baby out, obviously bringing them through. Some babies need to be forceps, that kind of thing, whatever. But they actually do say, like, when it comes to that, when you're born, that's supposed to compress the skull of the baby. And obviously you have that soft bit because your skull is still forming as a baby when you're born. But it does have a lot of things. Like, it does come down to a lot of things. And I don't know whether it's just neurological or if there's more in that. But I remember seeing something on it and I was like, that's actually fascinating. So babies that are born through cesarean don't have that because you're obviously going in invasively to the woman, which is very traumatizing. Even though people don't think it, it's like, right, you're literally taking the baby in that way. And it can be very traumatizing for the mother because it's like, I couldn't give birth naturally. It can bring a lot of shame and a lot of guilt to women because we're here to do this one thing. That's why we're here, is for that. But because your skull isn't compressed, it can lead to a multitude of things naturally. This is something that I actually found out. I'm just regurgitating information that I know about. Not too much about, but I've heard about. So it could be a case of you weren't ready to come out yet. I'd need to know more information. I'd need to know, were you overdue? By how long? But I would literally put it down to like you're in your little oven, you weren't ready to come out yet,
It's too cozy.
which is an interesting way. Yeah, but it's also like babies come when they're ready. People like to. Do you ever see all these fads where women are like, "Oh, my due date is I don't know, like, the 16th of May,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever." And then it's like, okay, it's like 3 days off that. I've been eating takeaway foods. They say actually, if you have intimacy with your partner, that's supposed to bring the birth on quicker, walking more, being more active, using the ball, like that, whatever them balls are called, the aerobic balls. Um, all these different things that are supposed to like speed along the process when that's not the point at all. They say different things that are just such myths, and this is actually coming as the myth factor. We've gone completely off astrology now, right? They say uh E for two. You know this
Yeah.
expression with babies?
Mm-hmm.
When in fact it's actually E for one and sleep for two is a better way to go about it, because that baby is sucking everything through the mother. That actually, when a baby is born, a lot of women can have mad things happen where their hair falls out, their teeth can fall out, and they lose like a shoe size. Mad stuff happens because all of your energy is going into this beautiful human being. So it's rest for two, like sleep for two, because all your energy, you need to relax and just rest. You're coming to the end of this experience where like this little tiny human being is going to be there and they can't regulate, they can't move, they can't do anything for themselves. You're going to need to be on, you're going to be sleep deprived. So actually sleep for two, and eat for one. And a lot of people might not even be hungry.
Interesting. Yeah. Also, when you mentioned like 5 hours ago that everything everything that happens while the woman's pregnant goes into the child, this is something that I've always found so fascinating. When my mom was expecting me, we had a shed on fire. It was burning, and my mom like caught herself here, kind of
Got into it?
like no, just caught herself between her chest, just like, in shock. I have a birthmark here in the shape of
Ooh,
a fist.
that's interesting. I seen something ages ago about birthmarks that apparently that's where you were. Like it's how you died or something like that. It's like how you were killed or something, like a birthmark is supposed to be. And I was like, I don't know how real that is. But could you imagine if you were like a Viking like many lives ago and that was like a way that you like, I don't know, kind of fascinating. But you definitely do. You do definitely take on that energy, whatever that energy was going on beforehand. You do take on all of that, the stress, the upset, the emotions. And emotion, it's emotion. It moves and it moves through her into you.
Mm-hmm. Is it called a birthmark or a fire mark? I'm not too sure now. But
I've been told it can also be called a tea stain. Have you heard of that?
oh,
Or a wine stain?
yeah. Mm-hmm. And all of the elderly women around me, always, I heard this so many times from different families, different people, always said that whenever you're pregnant, most important, if you see something burning, not a candle, but like a burning building or a car, do not touch yourself, do not grab your face or anything like that, because then the child is going to have a
Oh,
birthmark in that area that you touched.
that's so interesting. I'm gonna dig a little bit in that. I want to see what I can find on that. That's really
I
interesting.
uncovered a new rabbit hole.
I
You're
love it.
welcome.
I love
All
it.
right. We have already talked for about like 50 minutes. I am really interested in Chiron and the idea of your core wound. So I have a lot of questions. When I was doing a little bit of research what to talk about today, a lot of people have questions about Chiron. What is it? Why do people care? Why should I care? So I have a couple of questions. So how does Chiron show where we hurt and where we can heal?
Chiron, so I've only gone down this rabbit hole in the last week. Something brought me to this. And I went back into like an old chart that I had because I'm still going through each planet and really resonating with it. And it's moment to moment where I'm like, huh. And it's always in a moment when something's happening that I need to know what it is. This is what keeps happening to me. It's around a time I'm going through a pattern or a challenge, and I rise to the challenge, and it always comes to be astrology that I'm like, huh. So Chiron apparently is known or often called the wounded healer, right? So the planet, the wounded healer, and it usually represents our deepest core wound that we come into this life with. And I suppose you can get a lot from that. Like if we really do take it on in this life, a lot of wisdom, a lot of learnings, and maybe we're meant to teach other people about that in this life. It could be a big thing on that. So um it depends when you really get into it and learn about it. And what I found as well is a lot of generations that are a lot like that are even younger than I am now, around our generation and even getting younger now, they're all getting into this a lot earlier. A lot of people from the younger generations are actually quite spiritual, and they're really getting into all of this, like tarot, and really deep diving into their wounds and doing the shadow work. A lot of us are here and we're like, oh, I'm just going to do the generational shadow work now that my mum and her mum and her
Yeah.
mum couldn't do. And this is great. So like if you get into figuring out what that core wound is for you in this life, you could see that rear its ugly head through so many different things, in relationships, in your career, like anywhere really. And then once you start to pinpoint that, it can really answer a lot of questions where you're like, oh, like me, for example, oh, I really don't like the braggy factor. I hate this. Why do I not like it? It's actually due to this thing. It's a voice you have in your head saying, oh, I don't want to be judged about this. I don't want to feel like I'm on a platform for people to judge me about this thing. So I'd rather be in the shadows, do the work, but not actually get the credit for it, which is fascinating. And this came up in the last week, and I was like, huh, that's why I do this thing, or that's why this makes me so uncomfortable. And finding out what my Chiron is, what really gets under my skin. Now I know, oh, this is why I seek this in my career. This is why I seek this in my relationships or my home life, and why that was a thing when I was a kid, and now it's a thing as an adult. And it really gives you, I suppose, the trigger to do the shadow work and sit down and say, now I know why I'm uncomfortable. Before I didn't know the why. Now I know the why. This is my wound. So how can I help myself on that? When that little ugly voice comes into your head of, oh, don't do that.
Yeah.
People are going to do this. Or, now you can sit there with that and go, take it by the hand and go, cool. So we know that this is the wound. We're saying this, this, and this. How much of that is true? And you can bring that down. You can minimize that, which is great because as a therapist, if you have someone in front of you and they're like really into astrology and they're like, oh my God, this and that, you can really lean in and go, cool. So let's work on that. Let's get into the shadow work of that, which, that's therapy in itself, really, isn't it? Shadow work. We're going in and we're saying, oh, this is this recurrent pattern. How deep do you want to dive?
But then here's a question for anybody who might
Mhm.
not want to turn their life into a therapy session. What would you suggest? How can anybody work with Chiron without turning their lives into a therapy homework, essentially?
Well, Chiron, I suppose in itself, you don't like, it's not about fixing it, it's about integrating it. So, like, you don't need to fix yourself. You're not broken. You just come in with these things that it's like, are you going to work on this, or are you going to, because if you don't, you're just going to keep seeing a recurrent pattern, right? And for a lot of people, when they're in a recurrent pattern, they cannot see that. It's like that expression, you cannot see the forest for the trees, right? When you're in the wound, you cannot really see it. And the other people around you can probably see it, and they're like, ah, there's the red flag. And you're like, what are you talking about? It's pink over here. So it doesn't have to be a case of you're broken, fix it. It could be a case of what's not working here. How can we bring this in and integrate it and maybe make things a little bit easier? And, you know, there's all of these different books, like self-help books and expressions like feel the fear and do it anyway. Doesn't mean you're never going to feel fear
Yeah.
again. Doesn't mean you're never going to be afraid again. It just means, are you going to jump and see how far you can get? And if you only get 1 foot, Cool. Try again and see if you maybe get 2 feet the next
I
time.
love that. Yeah.
Mm.
All right. I don't think we'll get to talk about work, but that's okay. That's a topic for another session. I want to do a lightning
So,
round. I want you to tell me
oh God.
the first thing in like 10 seconds max, an answer to each of these questions. So, best sign to take on a city
Okay.
break.
Oh, Gemini.
Okay. Not gonna ask why. Most misunderstood placement.
Feel like it might be any water sign.
Give me one.
Scorpio or Cancer.
You know what? I would agree with Scorpio because everybody
Yeah,
think they're,
Scorpio's very misunderstood.
yeah,
Very misunderstood.
I agree with that.
Very.
All right. Planet that creates the most drama.
Planet. Oh, maybe Mercury, considering we're talking about Mercury retrograde. But then I suppose like Saturn, that's like really karmic,
What,
where it's like discipline, boundaries. It wrecks the place.
what was that planet that was affecting us for like dozens of years now? Pluto?
Pluto? Yeah, that's the Pluto is like transformation. That's the planet of transformation. So yeah, like if you're in that, yeah, it can be it can be tough. And those transformations are not like, oh, we're on the Gok Wan show and we're about to have like a wardrobe change. It's like we're wrecking the place.
I'm kind of sticking with Pluto on this one. Mercury is, you know
Okay,
when it's
yeah,
coming.
Pluto.
You know when it's coming. You can be prepared. For Pluto, what was it, 14
Yeah.
years or something? Give me a break. Anyway, one astrology trend you would retire.
One astrology trend.
Yes.
I feel like it would be what I said about surface level stuff. Everyone thinking that the sun sign is the be all and end all. Like retire that. There's so much more than that.
Retire without pay.
Yeah.
All right.
You're not going to get redundancy.
And then I hope I'm saying this right, but astrocartography in one tip.
Cartography.
You know how you have your star map, you know, the circle one? What should I be looking for?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I think it's where the planets, so if planets square each other or they trine, there's a few different ways that they can say. So, like planets, based on where they are on the chart, they might oppose something or they might square it, and it can mean it's a good thing, can mean it's a bad thing. It could be showing you signs of where there's conflict in your chart and where you'll have a struggle or where you'll really hit a home based on where they are and in the planets, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. Thank you. Look at me
Mm.
interviewing you. Haha, paybacks and bleep. But we're coming to the end. My three key takeaways that I kind of want to take away myself, and I feel like a lot of people might take away themselves as well, is know your big three, not just your sun. Know your sun, moon, and rising.
Yeah.
Treat astrology like weather, not destiny.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then use timing to stack odds in your favor.
That felt like the Hunger Games. May it be ever in your favor.
May the odds be forever, not this peace.
Like, forever in your favor.
Somebody had to. But this was so enlightening and so just interesting to hear your thoughts, how your mind goes through all of the levels of astrology, even you guessing a celebrity. Wild. We weren't even talking about sun signs. We were talking about rising. That was so impressive. There were so many awesome things. Even when we veered off talking about childbirth, birthmarks, stuff like that, all of that can kind of be brought back into astrology and how why birth matters essentially, right? Birth time, date, and
It does.
everything. So
Yeah.
thank you so, so much for joining me in this conversation. Thank you, everybody who's listening. If you haven't yet, rate, review, leave a comment, like, subscribe, all the things. Share with your friends. If you liked it, like it. If you didn't like it, share with some of your mean friends so that all of them can leave some comments on this. We're gonna be just thriving in engagement. So just do everything possible. So I'm gonna call this.
Also,
Yeah,
if there's anything that I wasn't correct about, let me know, because all I can do is learn. Because I'm still in that rabbit hole of trying to figure this out. And it's all perception based too, right?
it really is. And I just want to leave with this
Yeah.
simple line: astrology is context, not a cage. And
Nice.
with
I
this,
like that.
I think we can call it a night. It's very late, but it was great. I love this spontaneous recording session. Um, I would I would give you a sneak peek what's next, but we don't even know. So you will just figure it out at the same time when you do. So with this, I am signing off. I was Jake and I was joined by Jenny. Thank you so much for this wonderful, wonderful show. I'll allow you to say some few words and then we'll peace out.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening if you listened. And if there's any kind of I suppose things you want us to delve into and learn about or talk about on the podcast, please let us know. We love to learn and we love going down rabbit holes. We are neurodivergent freaks.
Yeah.
And we go on tangents, which you see in now, and you've probably seen in our other podcasts if you've been following. So yeah, let us know. And thank you for your energy and thank you for joining in ours.
Thank you.
Peace and love.
All right. Peace and love. Mwah. Bye.